guys, this is the new motor for the Camaro. So a lot of you guys gave me a lot of good feedback on what to do with this one, but before I go into that, I want to go ahead and show you this. Okay, this is a thermostat that I found in the intake of that 305. Okay, so all that steam was coming out of this motor without the system pressurized. If this is stuck down, I mean, water is continuously flowing, it's not pressurized. That's a lot of steam for a cooling system that's not under pressure. I can't imagine what it was like, the amount of steam with a pressurized cooling system. So I also found out this is a 180 degrees thermostat, so somebody was having trouble keeping this motor cold. Knowing that, the heads on this motor probably toast, the cam's probably toast, need to replace all the lifters. Not really sure about the bottom end, but from all the research that I did, when it comes to buying a new set of heads and all that other kind of stuff, I probably would have spent between $600 to $800, okay, if I got some really nice stuff. The casting on these heads, the Chevy 305s from 78 to 79, I've heard have a reputation of cracking very easily. You just overheat them one time and boom, they're done. So I'm assuming that's what these ones are. Now, this motor, on the other hand, is a Crate 350 from Summit Racing. Okay, it was built by General Motors. The total cost, I usually don't talk about my cost, but the total cost for this motor was $1,509. Okay, so that's shipped to my door off the truck. There's no core charge, so I don't have to, you know, give them this or give them a different motor and get money back. There's no core charge at all. That's just straight. You don't pay for shipping on Summit, anything like that. It's 195 horse plus motor, so depending on the intake and the carburetor and all that kind of stuff that you put on it, you can get a little bit more out of it. Tons better than that one. That 305, I can't even imagine. But it's ready to go. All I need to do is paint it. I'm going to switch out the valve covers and then put that aluminum intake on it. The valves are all adjusted. The bottom end's all brand new. So we're talking, new pistons, new rings, new bearings, all that kind of stuff's all new. And so, spend a little bit extra, $600-700 more. You get something brand new that comes with a warranty that has a, 1 year and 12,000 mile guarantee. That's not bad. I mean, $1,500 to your door isn't bad. One of the main reasons, though, why I decided to go for this over that is because every single person that I talked to, and I was like, hey, I got this Camaro. They're like, oh, cool, what year? Oh, it's 79, Z28. Oh, that's awesome, 350? No, it's got a 305. And every single person was like, oh, 305, that sucks. So, not much love for the 305s, but definitely loves for the 350. So, this is what we're going to put in it. Here's the motor after 3 light coats over the black. The black is obviously harder to paint over. And as you notice, these valve covers, no, they're not the ones I'm going to put on it. I have these valve covers specifically for painting motors, so I got them off of a parts car a long time ago. The cool part about this motor is that, the spark plug holes, the exhaust outlets, everything's already covered since they painted it and then shipped it. So I don't have almost any prep to do other than obviously the lifter galley, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over and give it another coat. Since we're going to take the time to replace the engine and transmission, I figured it was just suitable to go ahead and pull the cover off of this differential and replace the fluid. So it's fairly easy. You just unbolt all the bolts, leaving the top few still threaded, and then pull the cover off, and then all the lube should drain out. So we'll see what it looks like inside. Alright, there's the inside of the rear end. I'm not seeing any metal chunks or any large wear on the gears or anything like that, so I think we're okay. And of course the fluids, actually the fluid looks a lot better than I thought it was going to. There's the cap. Yeah, now it's time to clean the cap up and then throw more fluid back in it. So one less thing that the next owner is going to have to do. So there it is, the job is done. I kind of made a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. The way that I did it was I had this little squirt bottle with the plastic tube on the end, and I'd fill that up with 8 ounces of fluid, dump it in the rear end, and then just continue to do that. We used almost the whole bottle, so there's maybe half a quart left, and you know, there's the old stuff. So I used a Felpro gasket. It was fairly cheap. I think this whole job was under 10 bucks. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. This fluid, yeah, it's toasty. So luckily there was no metal shavings or anything like that in there, and the new fluid's much better. So that is one more job done. So here is the engine and transmission combo together. As you can tell, the valve covers, the intake manifold, the water neck, the balancer, the pulleys, the fuel pump, all that stuff is from the old motor. So it definitely cleaned up very well. I cleaned a little bit of the transmission, make it look just a little bit more presentable, but I also replaced the filter and gasket on it. Here's the old motor. But yeah, right now the motor's kind of smudgy because I had to push it down to get it to mate on the transmission. But I'll clean it up and we will put it in. There it is. It's waiting. Alright guys, as you saw in the last video clip, we have no fire. So what I'm thinking is I have the distributor set in at the wrong point, and I think it's that timing tab's fault. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to pulling the valve cover. I'm going to end up rotating the motor by hand until it reaches 0 degrees, top dead center on number 1. And then I'm going to look at the timing mark on the balancer and verify it actually is at 0, or if I have the wrong timing tab. Heck, it might be that the timing tab from the old motor is what I need to work with the old harmonic balancer. That's the thing, I used the harmonic balancer from the old motor. So yeah, I'm just going to take a little bit more digging, reset the distributor, which isn't that big of a deal, and go from there. Alright, I think I figured it out. So I have the number 1 cylinder on compression stroke. A good way to know if you're on compression stroke is when you turn the motor over, you will see this intake rocker move up and down. And so when it starts coming up and closes, then you know everything else after it is going to be your compression stroke. So easy way to tell between intake and exhaust is that your exhaust valves line up with your exhaust ports, and your intake valves line up with your intake ports. But anyway, I have the motor, I don't know if it's exactly top dead center on number 1. The way I was telling was once I knew it was on compression stroke, I would take the screwdriver and put it in the hole. And before I could get, I kind of put it at an angle like this so it goes down into the cylinder. Before I could get it, quite a bit of ways in, now it's not coming in at all. So the piston, even though it might not be 100% 0 degrees at the top of the center, I know it's coming up to the end of its travel. And if you look down there, I don't know if you can see that, but that right there is the timing mark on the balancer. And if you look, all my timing marks are way farther down. So yeah, you see, there's the timing mark that I put on, and there's the mark on the balancer. So what I'm thinking is that the timing marks from the old engine match that balancer, so I need to go ahead and use that. That's why the engine wouldn't fire, because the distributor is firing each cylinder way too late. So the piston's already going down when it's firing, and yeah, it's not good. Here are the timing marks from the old engine. Remember that? So, I mean, if you're looking at it from the same view we were looking at the other engine at, 0 degrees is right here, and that mark was right around here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that bracket on it. I'm going to drop in the distributor again, and hopefully it will be in the correct orientation to actually fire the motor. Now that I have the engine to very close to 8 degrees before top dead center on number 1, you can see where the distributor was actually firing. Is it firing a whole cylinder late? It's firing on the, I believe, the number 7 cylinder. Number 1 is about here, so it's all the way back here, and it won't run like that. So hopefully this will fix it. Alright, take 2.